Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. We are broadcasting live for another podcast on Callin. Make sure you subscribe, chatsports.com/49ers Callin. For those of you watching after the fact on YouTube, make sure you download the Callin app. The links to do that available in the comment section and in the description of this video. What's really cool about Callin, you have an opportunity to call into the show as it lives up to its name and chop it up with me. Ask me any questions that you want or give off your best 49ers hot takes. So as I talked about on today's show, taking a look at the top training camp battles with training camp about to get underway in the latter portion of July. But first, I want to hear from you in the comment section right now, and I'm going to put you to the test with this question. The 49ers are the strongest at which position group? I'm going defensive line because I think they're 2 to 3 deep at every single position along that D-line, but let me know what you think in the comment section right now. So we start off this position group battle with taking a look at wide receiver 3. I think this is the most intriguing battle set to take place in Santa Clara this summer. And it's going to be a competition between Danny Gray as well as Jauan Jennings to see which receiver is going to be behind Deebo Samuel as well as Brandon Ayuk for that slot spot and that wide receiver 3 position. So you look at Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. They really do have a multifaceted skill set. Deebo Samuel is the yak king, and he's really become a better wide receiver over time with the versatility to his game as a pass catcher and, of course, as we saw last year, as a running back. And I think we're going to see more from Brandon Ayuk as an all-around wide receiver and see him unlock his game as a vertical threat. But at that wide receiver 3 spot, Danny Gray, Jauan Jennings are going to be competing for that slot position, and they're two different players. Danny Gray has burners. He can pull away from defenders and make some guys miss and also pick up a lot of yards after the catch. Jauan Jennings does not have that elusiveness to his game. He's more so a position wide receiver. But what I really like about Jauan Jennings is his size at that slot spot. 6'2", 6'3". Sometimes that's really rare, and I think that he can become that security blanket wide receiver for Trey Lance. That wide receiver 3 battle to see who gets more snaps is certainly going to be an intriguing one in training camp in July. So I want to ask you this after saying all of that. Who will have more catches in 2022? Type DG for Danny Gray, JJ for Jauan Jennings. Let me know in the comment section right now. Position battle number 2. I look at the center spot. It's a wide open competition following the retirement for Alex Mack. And it's going to be a competition between a couple of players here. Jake Brendel and Daniel Brunskill, who we know a lot about already, and then 2 unknown players as undrafted free agents, Donovan West out of Arizona State, and Jason Poe, the undrafted free agent out of Mercer. Jason Poe has become some type of a social media sensation because in the lead up to the NFL draft, teams were working him out at about 6 foot 300 pounds as a fullback. So he's really athletic. Him and Donovan West have versatility playing center and guard, but they're going to be competing for that center spot against one another, but also against Jake Brendel and Daniel Brunskill. Now, last year we obviously saw Brunskill fare pretty well at that guard spot going up against Aaron Donald. He can go inside to center. He can also just stay put at right guard because you have some question marks there. But Jake Brendel right now is a leader in the clubhouse. Offensive line coach Chris Forster was with him with the Miami Dolphins. And something tells me that Brendel's going to be the guy because I think the 49ers had an indication and an inclination that Alex Mack was going to retire. A couple of people went to his wedding in Ireland this offseason, and if they knew that Mack was going to retire, they still didn't address center in free agency or in the NFL draft. So something tells me they're confident in Brendel to be that guy, but if an injury happens, if he falters, it could be Brunskill, Donovan West, and Jason Poe. Either way, all of them will be competing for those center 1 snaps. Who do you think will be the starting center? Let me know here on Callin as well as YouTube. Feeling all of your responses in the comment section right now. Position battle number 3. Going to take a look at safety here. And this, too, a wide-open competition, as are all these positional battles. Talanoa Hufanga, Tarvarius Moore, George Odom, and Leon O'Neal are competing for those safety reps opposite of Jimmy Ward. There is a wild card in there, and a guy who primarily has played a lot of defensive back throughout his career. It's Dante Johnson. What was interesting during OTAs and minicamp was that Dante Johnson was playing a lot of safety. Primarily, he's played, like I said, outside corner, a little bit of slot. And last year, especially toward the tail end of the regular season, he started to impress a lot. He is a wild card to play a little bit of safety, but right now, I think the leader in the clubhouse is Talanoa Hufanga. He is going to be my guy, but what do you think? Who will start next to Jimmy Ward? Will it be Hufanga or some of the other guys? With Hufanga, I really like what he was able to do last year as a rookie, late-round pick out of USC. The versatility to his position is pretty fascinating. He can play safety. He can play hybrid linebacker, kind of like what Marcel Harris did last year, who's now with the New York Jets after signing with them in free agency. Really good special teamer as well in coverage as a gunner. He, of course, was the guy with the scoop and score on that Jordan Willis pump block in the NFC divisional round against the Green Bay Packers. That ended up being the game-winning touchdown for San Francisco, but he's added a little bit of weight. Best shape of life season, by the way. He has another year in this system, and throughout OTAs and minicamp, he was playing very, very well. A reminder for those of you listening to us live here on Call-In, make sure you hop into the caller queue because I'll start answering questions after this segment wraps up. And if you're subscribed to us on Call-In, whether you're listening live or you're watching us after on YouTube, I want you to get into the comment section right now and type gang. We just eclipsed 60,000 subs on YouTube. 100 subscribers on Call-In. We continue to grow, all thanks to the faithful. Two more positional battles to get to. At number 4, the cornerbacks opposite of Tarvarius Ward. Tarvarius Ward, one of the big winners throughout this offseason. 1, he got the bag from San Francisco in free agency, and 2, he impressed everybody throughout OTA, so much so that he didn't even need to practice, according to Kyle Shanahan, throughout minicamp. We know that he is going to be that number 1 corner, and he was certainly trending in that direction last year with the Kansas City Chiefs because he was making some headway on some players on the Chiefs roster as the best cornerback with Kansas City. That's a big reason why he got paid some big-time bucks in free agency. But who is going to be the number 2 corner? And then with that, who is going to be the starting slot corner? That's why this is one of the more fascinating positional group battles that we're going to keep an eye on going into training camp. And number 2 corner, it's going to be a competition between Emmanuel Mosley as well as Ambry Thomas. Whoever loses that could be the top slot. But also competing for some slot reps, Samuel Womack, the rookie, Tariq Castro-Fields, the other rookie, Dante Johnson, if he doesn't win a role at that safety position, and then Darquez Dennard, who the Niners brought in late last year. And after the season wrapped up, he credited the Niners as being a former top-round pick with bringing back his love for football. Last position battle. It's the quarterback number 2 positional battle between Nate Sudfeld, Brock Purdy, and guess who it could be? Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not sure if Garoppolo is going to be on this roster. We don't know if he's going to get cut. We don't know if he's going to get traded. If he is on this team, I do expect him to be the backup for Trey Lance because I think he is going to be the number 1 quarterback for the Niners going into 2022. It would just be ridiculous for him to not be the guy. He has all the necessary talent. You mortgage all that draft capital. You moved up to number 3 to take him. He has all the ability in the world. At some point, you have to give him consistent reps for him to prove to be the guy. But after Trey Lance, who is going to be the number 2 guy? Nate Sudfeld struggled at times throughout OTAs as well as minicamp. The last pick in the draft was Brock Purdy. I frankly wasn't really all that impressed with what he did at Iowa State throughout his college career. Lacks great arm strength, isn't the greatest athlete, has decent pocket mobility. Can he be a Nick Mullins or a poor man's Nick Mullins? Maybe. But that number 2 quarterback spot is up for grabs between Sudfeld, Brock Purdy, as well as Jimmy Garoppolo. So with that, gonna start answering some calls here on this segment as we just broke down the top 5 positional battles going into Niners training camp in July. We're gonna start off our caller list with David. He joins the program once again. David, you're up live here on the 49ers Report. Make sure you unmute yourself and welcome to the show, my guy.
Yep. What's up, man?
Good to hear from you again, man. How are you?
Yeah, you too. I'm doing all right. I was talking to Harrison before he cut me off. He said, is Trey Lance the guy? I told him he's taking to the Super Bowl.
You think that Trey Lance is taking the Niners to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. What makes you confident in Trey for him to be the guy? We were just talking about him throughout today's show, but what makes you confident that he can be the dude?
Before we draft him, I thought, oh man, I hope we pick him up and I was saying, damn, I hope we don't pass on him. And I thought he was the guy. And when I heard his name, I said, God, answer my prayer. We got him. Yeah,
So when
yeah.
they drafted Trey Lance, did you say, David, ladies and gentlemen, we got him?
We got our new superstar in the San Francisco 49ers taking us to 2022 2023 Super Bowl.
I love it, man. David, I'm going to put
Yeah.
you on mute here because I just have some thoughts on what you had to say. We've talked about this ad nauseum, right? Trey Lance was drafted at number 3 for a reason. He has all of the necessary mental qualities, in my opinion, all the leadership qualities, and just the raw athletic abilities to be a premier starting quarterback in this league. Now, am I going to go as far as to say he's going to be a top 3 guy, a top 5 guy? Maybe that's pretty lofty praise, but the Niners took him at that spot because they envisioned him having boatloads of potential. He really, in my opinion, just needs consistent reps in order to maximize his ability, arm strength, running ability, the want to be a very good quarterback. Again, he's very inexperienced, though, so that's why the reps are so important for him. Played 1 full year of college football at the FCS level, 1 game back in 2020 because of a COVID-shortened season. That's why it's so paramount for him to get as many reps as possible. Next up on the 49ers Report, we're going to go to Evan. I know he's been tuned into a lot of our shows. I'm going to make you the next caller. Evan, welcome into the 49ers Report. What do you got for me?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. I'm doing good now that you're calling into the program.
So my question is, I think the new wide receiver the 49ers drafted could be like a Cordell Patterson 2.0.
So you think that Danny Gray can be a Cordell Patterson?
Yeah, like with all what I saw all on highlights and stuff, I think he could be like a wide receiver or a running back.
Okay.
And stuff, and also I know this position is probably not a good position, but I honestly think Jauan Jennings or Brock Purdy could be a Taysom Hill type player. They built that way.
Yeah, so some thoughts on that because we were talking about Danny Gray on today's segment because he's going to be competing for some wide receiver 3 spots alongside Jauan Jennings, and ultimately I think Jauan Jennings is going to get more of those reps because he was fantastic throughout minicamp and OTAs, and I kind of like how his body works out of that slot position at 6'2", 6'3", really reliable hands. Does he have the breakaway speed of Danny Gray? Not necessarily, but he's so reliable and he doesn't drop a lot of footballs. That is one of the question marks with Danny Gray. Now, you compared him to Cordell Patterson, Evan, and I appreciate the call. Different body types. I think that Cordell Patterson last year was like a Deebo Samuel light. He got a lot of handoffs with Arthur Smith calling the plays with the Atlanta Falcons last year. He also was sent out on a lot of wheel routes and displayed a lot of good pass-catching ability coming out of the backfield. He has a lot of talent and a lot of ability, but he's a really big dude who's a lot bulkier than Danny Gray. So Danny Gray, I think, figures best out of the slot right now. Maybe he can play a little bit outside, but the prototype of him, I think, is more Emmanuel Sanders because he's a little bit slighter in terms of his frame. But with picking up yards after the catch and him being dynamic with the ball in his hands, I can see why you want him to be a player like Patterson because he can make guys miss. He just doesn't have the physical element of his game that Cordell Patterson has, who I think Patterson has become one of the more underrated players in the NFL over the last couple of years. Next up on the show, another one of our loyal listeners and subscribers to the program. It's Richard Gomez. Going to make you the next caller. What do you got for me, Richard?
Hey, Chase, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. Hey, I loved what David was saying about Super Bowl bound. Go Niners.
Yes.
I think the reason that it's going to work out with Trey is because we can spread the field now. I mean, we're going to pound the ball, and they can't just load up the box. Trey has mobility. We can throw deep. It's not just run all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've said this a couple of times on YouTube as well as here on Callin. What I think Trey Lance does for the offense as compared to Jimmy Garoppolo, because, look, that's really the only comparison that we can make, his imprint on the offense as compared to Jimmy G. Jimmy G is very steady. He throws a really pretty ball. But does he have elite arm strength? No. Is he a threat to run with the football? Not at all. Can he make every single throw on the field? No, he's somewhat limited in that way. Trey Lance, on the other hand, does have elite arm strength to push the ball down the field vertically. He can make any throw on the football field. And then he offers that athletic component, which that makes him a threat as a runner purely, but I also think it adds to the Niners' run game as a whole, because now linebackers and edge rushers have to worry about when they set the edge if Trey Lance is going to hold on to the football or if he's going to give it up to another one of the running backs on this team. And there's a bunch of running back options, too, who offer different skill sets on this team. Elijah Mitchell, fast, more of a speedy guy who can be lightning quick. Hits the hole really quickly, which is great. Ty Davis Price, on the other hand, more of that physical back who is a one-cut runner who gets up and down and can run you over. And then we know what JaMychal Hasty and Jeff Wilson bring to the table. And Trey Sermon is kind of a combination, in my opinion, between Elijah Mitchell as well as Ty Davis Price. So that different versatility to the running back spot, in addition to what Trey Lance can also offer running the football as well, I just think makes the offense less predictable, more explosive in terms of the run game for the reasons that I talked about. Trey Lance can take the top off of the defense. He can actually throw the deep ball, whereas Jimmy Garoppolo really hasn't been able to do that. So I agree with you, Richard. You make some good points there. Before we hop on out of here for this particular segment, I want to ask you this. Do you bet on football? I want to hear from you in the comment section right now on Call-In and YouTube. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I love betting on football. No, I'm not a degenerate, but betting on football is a lot of fun and makes the games really exciting to watch. Let me know right now in the comment section.